Well, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, September 18th. Hey, Joe, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Kick it off with public comment. Anybody in the room here have any public comment? Scott, how about on the line? Okay.
Alex, no, I was gonna say, oh, okay, like her hand was up.
Okay, any excuse me. Any changes on the consent agenda? Excuse me. Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass the consent agenda as presented.
And I will second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, one of our favorite guests to the county meetings. Got Joe here from King of the Castle.
First of line.
Yeah.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Morning.
Just back again. Gonna do the fall race. Last race we had a little bit of we're not really sure what happened, but somebody came through into Juniper Acres with guns in the truck and forced their way through one of our road crossings, and we got mixed messages about what really happened. So I talked to the sheriffs, and they couldn't really do anything because of whatever reasons. And anyhow, what they said was that, hey, let us know this time. We'll show some presence out there. We're always going back and forth to Juniper Acres to get in and out of there. This time we're the back way going in, we're gonna be just going down the DC power line on the east side of George Milliken. So we'll have two security people there just for where the road crossings are. Hopefully we won't have any problems this time, but other than that, everything seems to be going smooth.
Good.
So
How many years is this? I was just thinking.
we started 2020, so we do 2 of them a year. So this is our 4th year, and we got permits for 10 years from the BLM, and they said they're going to do us another 10 years after that. So
We're good.
should be doing it for a long time.
We love having you. So
Yep.
keep coming.
I'm still trying to figure out how to do something with the county, maybe. And we thought about doing parade laps, but trying to figure out how to get everybody down here to try and tie, your guys' expansion of bringing people into the community here. So we just appreciate everything you do for us all the time. And I wish every government agency was as good as you guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
How many people participate in it?
Last race we had 47 cars. There's like 250 people with the support teams and everything. This time we've only got 25 signed up, but there's no motivation for them to get signed up right now. So I'm guessing we're going to be around 40. Our maximum is 50 race cars. So that's the max that we can do with our staging area. So just trying to get better with it all the time.
Can you come watch? Is it
Sure.
like I'm saying, is it like spectator? Is there?
Well, we really we don't shoot for spectators just because we're not really set up with vendors and security to keep everybody safe. But most of the teams have, a dozen people that come over with them. So they've got spectators that are there. So, yeah, and there's we're trying to keep people away from the course is the biggest thing. So that's always a challenge. They want to get out there and see what's going on and stumble onto the course. So it feels like the last 2 races since we had an incident, a year and a half ago at that one race where we had 2 people come in contact with people that weren't racers. And I think you can't ever seal the course because it's so big, but I feel like we're doing everything we can. We've got a security team at all the road crossings. So we're trying to do everything we can to keep it safe and have fun and make memories. I'm in the memory making business.
Perfect.
So that's what we're doing.
I'll keep it up.
All right, great. Any questions or?
Nope.
All right, thank you.
Jamie?
Commissioners, do you?
Oh, do we need to make
Take an action.
make a motion?
I was gonna say, What
Motion.
what sort of motion should we make? Is basically, I guess I'm gonna ask you.
So as I understand it, he's asking we should make crossings in the manner in which he describes in the diagrams. What I think I've heard is that there's no opposition to that. Is that correct?
Yes.
So moved. Can I move it or do we need a motion?
Well,
Is that our motion?
so it sounds to me like the answer to his question is yes.
Yes.
So then I might recommend then that you make a motion to approve the road crossings as discussed in today's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, you're up.
Good morning, commissioners. For the record, this is Jamie Berger, budget manager for Crook County. In your packets, you should have the details on order 2024-42. This is a resolution to adopt a supplemental budget for the current fiscal year. I don't know if you want me to go into it in great detail, or if you have any questions in particular. The highlights, the particular parts that are supplemental are that both in Title III fund and for our capital projects fund, neither of those projects had as much progress in the prior fiscal year, the way we had budgeted it. And so the supplemental budget just moves the resource so that we can complete those projects in the current fiscal year. The other budgets, budget adjustments, minor, we're adding capacity for a fleet coordinator and the program that has to do with that. That was not something that was part of our fiscal 25 budget planning process, as well as for the sheriff's office fund. They received a grant for behavioral health deflection. And that was again after our budget process. And so these are the budget resolutions that we are asking you to consider.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
No.
I'd entertain a motion.
So I think.
Oh.
Oh, this time's a public hearing.
Move over.
All right. Open the public hearing. Anybody online? All right, I will close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to pass order 2024-42.
I will second that motion.
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thanks, Jamie.
John?
Commissioners, you have two short agreements in front of you. These are both amendments to the agreements that we've signed with the state for the actual portion of the Justice Center project. Remember, there was the master funding agreement and the phase funding agreement. Most of the projects have multiple phases. Ours only have one. And these amendments, like I said, are pretty simple. On the master funding agreement, the only difference, the only thing it changes is that it carves out, makes it clear that the money that we got, ARPA money for architectural design, not none of the same strings on it that the Article 11Q money has. So it's free for us to designate that we spent a long time ago, or spend the funds a long time ago. On the phase funding agreement, the main thing it does is it creates two tiers now of matches. Before there was only the 165% match, which was based on the proportionate share of the buildings. This one creates a second tier that gives the 100% match for all the land acquisition costs and SDCs and all the initial planning costs. And so this is a good deal for us. And the copy in the packet also had another change that changed the phase completion date from August 6th to September 30th. We just got our final change order to finish that second parking lot, and the second parking lot will be done until November 27th, even though the building will be done long before then. And so I got an amendment this morning that changes that date and then reflect the true final completion date of November 27th. And those are the only changes. Are there any questions? All right, then I'd recommend a motion to approve the First Amendment to the Crook County Courthouse master funding agreement and the First Amendment to the Crook County Courthouse Phase 1 funding agreement.
Do you think we should ask for public comment? Is there any public comment on that?
We can, the reason we did the last one is because it was a changing of the,
No, I
But yeah.
understand. I just,
anybody here want to speak to that?
so moved on John's
Second,
motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah, and I just think Brian deserves kudos. You've been the point on this project and done a great job moving this through, and thanks for all the time, John as well. A lot of people. So great job, Brian.
thank you.
We
And
just toured it yesterday. It looks incredible on the inside.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
September 27th is the ribbon cutting, so maybe we'll have cookies and
Maybe. You don't want to just float that out there and not deliver.
we're gonna have cookies.
Okay, good.
So everybody's welcome to come and join and see the new facility.
All right. Well, folks, that's the end of our regularly scheduled program. Oh, sorry. Well, you got anything?
Just a quick update on the HR front. The recruiter has done some screening interviews and has narrowed the list down to one person at this point, but he's received 4 more applications and believes there's going to be at least one more candidate. So we're looking at having 2 interviews, hopefully here in the near future, here at the county with those candidates. So just wanted to give you an update on that.
That would include us in some level,
Yeah, we'd have.
that interview process.
We haven't discussed the process for that yet, but we'll dial that in.
Okay, sure.
And then on that note, I had a phone call from someone who wanted to discuss that and I haven't called back. I'll call back this evening. So possibly we have another applicant, which I will turn over to the GMP.
And just a reminder in terms of the process for this recruitment, where it's more of a rolling kind of recruitment, so we haven't set a firm deadline. We've asked the recruiter to kind of schedule interviews as quickly as qualified candidates come in. So we may continue to see some applications roll in.
Great.
Good word, thank you.
So commissioners report. Will and I had our conversation with Andy from the University, Oregon State University. This is about the fire maps. It was not very fruitful. He was he was pretty clear that his science knew exactly where fires would go and that we were idiots for questioning. I don't know. Dial me down, Will, if you think I'm going crazy here, but wouldn't you say that was pretty much the gist of it? That his science was great, and the fact that we could show him that the topography and trees and shrubs were the same didn't really matter.
Yeah, so I'll be nice and I'll say his science is hard for us to refute. So I think at this point, as we talked about, Commissioner Crawford, we'll put together some talking points, a letter that we can share with other Eastern Oregon counties, probably in particular, as we move forward with kind of pushing this conversation away from the science and more to the policy arguments and the legislative level. Because it was frustrating. I would say it was my takeaway from that conversation. We didn't make any headway on the science front, but certainly we received a number of or heard a number of concerns, I guess, from this person from Oregon State that I think underscore our concerns about the legitimacy of the map for its intended purpose, which is regulatory in nature and how it ultimately treats citizens of Crook County and really the whole state of Oregon, I think, unfairly. So we got something out of the meeting that I think is helpful.
Once we could tell he wasn't going to change anything, I started digging for issues. And I think we came up with 5 solid issues that we can share with the rest of the state
So
that are pretty blaring. What did he call what was the term he used that one time that was great? Yeah, when you wrote
the
it.
fact that the lakes can catch on fire is still kind of an anomaly for me on that one. that
Yeah, I don't
they're
know.
Moderate wildfire.
I don't know if
risk.
everybody knows what we're talking about. There's a fire map the state of Oregon is pushing that will require increased cost of building. They say nothing to do with insurance, but as soon as it came out, people's insurance costs went up dramatically. And so Will and I have been really questioning a lot of areas. Susie brings up a really good point. In one of the meetings, they talked about a portion of a reservoir that was in extreme fire danger. Literally the water
Would catch on fire.
would catch on
And-
fire.
And then on the coast, they don't take into effect at all that the fog is so thick that, like the guy from that county said, I'd like you to start a fire. I'd like to see how you do it. So there's, and it's a minimum of $50,000 difference. And as Will pointed out, you can have 2 lots next to each other. This guy's okay, and this guy's in extreme and has to go through way more building, $50,000 of revenue and everything else. And that does not count the insurance that, of course, they say will not affect it. So it's a very flawed process. But when you have a computer at OSU that tells you lakes can catch on fire, I will say this, he is very firm in his beliefs. I did get I know you guys got it too, from Jackson County, that they had a letter and they wanted other counties to join in. And I think I forwarded it. Did I forward it to you? Okay, I need to go back and do that. But that's something that maybe at a later date, do we want to join? They were trying to get other counties to join, and basically they were saying the map is flawed.
The whole
Throw it
system is
out.
flawed. Not only is
So
the
I'm
map
not-
flawed,
yeah.
the plan, the whole thing is
Yeah,
just.
and so I'm not sure, do we want to join in that and then do our own comments? But I'll be sure, I thought I forwarded it to you, but I'll be sure to forward it, and that down the road. They needed it by October, the end of October. So it's not as if it was a time thing, but that might be something that would help us to join in with them. We know it's flawed. Any comment at this point is valid because of how bad it is. So we may think about that, but we'll have
I
to
would
bring
say
that
all of the
back.
above. Let's
Yeah.
do it all.
Yeah.
I'd like to be involved
Yeah.
with them. I'd like to put something out on our own.
They kind of kept this map secretive also. And then it was like this unveiling, and yeah, and they had an association of counties meeting. And the only person who was positive and wanted to increase the wildfire danger was Phil Chang in Deschutes County. Every other person on this call saw the flaws, particularly the lakes was a big one, and was against it. But Phil Chang did come out in positivity for more wildfire regulations.
Yes.
I found that very interesting.
So still a little kind of long-winded, but yeah,
That is,
I think
but
that's
no,
something
it's-
we're working on, and I think we have a really good chance to shut this down.
And if you own land, it's extremely important because of insurance is getting tougher and tougher. And yeah, now you're in extreme. I don't know that you'll get it.
Or building costs.
Or,
50
well,
I think
yeah, I mean,
15%,
obviously,
up
yeah,
to 50%
obviously the
already
cost, yes. But,
Extremely expensive.
but then how do you subsist when that's your dream?
Yeah.
And now you can't insure it.
Get it?
I mean, that right there is gonna be a very big decisive factor for people, but anyway.
Okay, anything else?
We had a tour of Dagami this Monday. I'm not gonna comment on it, but we did do a tour of the Dagami Woodward site and their possible expansion into the veneer property.
Great.
And Brian is baking cookies very fast for the Justice Center.
I have somebody for speed dial.
Okay, okay. That's your report, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I can't remember. Did I ask for public comment already? Okay, wrap it up here. We like to give the opportunity to have public comment. Nobody?
Mike's got his hat on, right? Are you ready? Okay.
Mike Irvin, Crook County resident, and I would like to respectfully submit once again that sometimes these meetings sound like you guys are having a meeting amongst yourself because we can't hear. You know, when you're 2, 3, 4 feet away from the microphone, it's a little hard for the audience to hear. So just, thank you.
I appreciate it. Sometimes I'm too loud though, so. Okay, done.
Okay. Very good comment, Mike.
If you
I'm
can't
sure
hear,
you
just
can
jump
do-
up and
Yeah,
say, I can't
It's
hear.
waving. I'm not offended easily.
No.
Oh,
And I guess along that point, just to kind of chat about that, is there any way we could get something put on our lapels?
maybe we
Or-
could be like Madonna in concert.
You could do the thing on
Yeah.
the headgear. I don't know. I mean,
Do that.
I think,
Yeah, I don't think I want one of those things.
no,
No.
well, I'll take one because I'm constantly getting in trouble for it. Okay,
Oh,
Okay.
darn, you take all the fun out of it. I
fair
think
enough.
it's like
fair enough.
being a celebrity. Okay.
All right. Well, anybody online? Last chance on that. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for coming. The Crook County Board of Commissioners will now meet in executive session under ORS 1926602E. The purpose of conducting deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. ORS 1926602D to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations. ORS 1926602H consulting with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed, and ORS 1926602A to consider the employment of a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent. Representatives in the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session except for under ORS 1926602H for labor negotiations.
2D. You got labor.
Oh, I went the wrong way. 2D for labor negotiations. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives in the news media are specifically directed not to report any deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, we return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. Crook County Board of Commissioners will now meet in the executive session under ORS 1926602E. For the purpose of conducting deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions under ORS 1926602D. Conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations. ORS 1926602H. Consulting with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. And ORS 1926602A to consider employment of a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. Representatives of news media designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session except for under 1926602D union labor negotiations. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report any deliberations during the executive session except to state that the general subject of the session is previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. Are you still?
I'm just for signing. I had my own.
You put it
pen
back?
to rest. I will as soon as if I need to
This is
sign,
the
I
only
need to
place I
sign
ever have a
2
pen and
documents.
I'm very protective of it.
Okay, darn. This is a 25-cent Bic pen. Don't give me crap about it.
Commissioners, regarding the topic under 2E for real property, I'd suggest a motion to approve the release of this.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
For the topic under 2D for labor negotiations, I'd suggest a motion to direct staff to
Sorry, Susie started it, it wasn't me.
For the topic under 2D, based on the conversation today, I'd recommend a motion to correspond with the counterparty as discussed in the executive session.
So move.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Commissioner, on the 2A, I don't think a motion is necessary. I think we had the motion from the last session, so no motion there. The 2H, motion to direct staff to proceed as directed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry? Aye. Just one quick thing. Yeah, John's gonna bring it next week at a work session on a contract with Kirby on this second parking lot. I just want to bring it to your attention that we have the information for that change order. But we are gonna start working on it today.
Is that the second piece of property?
Yes.
I noticed there was some guys on Monday, they had bicycles and they had little carts. And they were fighting over items. And I didn't stop to ask if we were having a garage sale, but I did notice that. I forgot to tell you.
So there are some time sensitive things we had to make, get in the slot with the abatement issues and things. And so we have started it, but we haven't gotten into the contract. So everybody's aware that
So next work session, you're thinking?
the next work session, I'd like to bring it forward so we can get it
Okay.
approved.
And did that go on our list to get reimbursed for?
Yes, it will be on the list, the land.
Tier 1, 100%.
That's one I'm gonna double check.
Perfect.
Perfect.
And it's all budgeted for everything.
Okay. They had a good nightstand on that cart. I was thinking about stopping and looking. I'm just kidding.
Anything else? Meeting adjourned?
I'm just giving you a bad time.
And there, you